I uh, I loved the kind of battle at the end to bring the tying run to the plate there. Loved what we did there at the end. Westy was awesome again, settling that thing down. That had the feel early on. That offense is scary. So what Westy did to give us a chance all the way through was awesome. Vin obviously swung the bat well, but Austin Gordon today was really, really good. And, we saw that. We were able to get him for a couple at our place early on, but he gave us fits at our place once and then did it again. That kid's good. And tell you what, man, that Clemson ball club, we got some really good ball clubs in this conference, obviously, and they're right there with anybody in the country.
Okay, we'll open up for questions. If you have one, just raise your hand and we'll pass the mic around.
I know you just touched on it briefly with John West, but he also, I think, went 6.1 at the end of April against Clemson, and they're the hottest team in the country right now, and he went 5.2 scoreless today, only gave up 1 hit and struck out 7. Can you just expand more on what was really working with his pitches and everything?
He had his fastball command, he had a little slider going. He added I want to say second time through is when he kind of went to the change a little bit more against some of the lefties. He's tough, he's athletic, he's competitive. The ball is on you. Clemson's not the only team he gave fits this year. But, yeah, we love him. We love what he does for us. And, we were treating this in some ways like Game 7. We knew it was going to be Flinney to West. We were kind of hoping it was going to be a 5-4 or 4-5 type situation. But we knew that was the plan going in. And it's hard to ever have confidence against anybody going against this Clemson lineup, but we had confidence, and not for nothing, we kept them to 4 runs. That's a chance to win the baseball game, right? And Gordon was just pretty good today, and we couldn't really get anything going. And their bullpen did a great job as well.
After what John did to Clemson up there at y'all's place, was there any consideration to maybe going the other way, starting John and Flynn coming out second?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but Flinney's been awesome all year, and we're not in this spot if it's not for Flinney. So, yeah, in some ways, it's just a matter of which way we were going today with them, and Westy has come out of the bullpen. Flinney's been starting all year, so he's trying to kind of just keep Flinney in his routine, and then turn it over to Westy. But sure, I think we're in a really good spot right now where you kind of have a 1 and a 1A, which is a fun place to be.
Coach, just kind of taking stock of where you stand heading into the postseason from a health standpoint. Are there any updates on the time frame for Leary and Honeyman, and do you feel good about the way your pitching staff is kind of set up right now after what you've seen this week?
I do. I think we faced, even going back to Notre Dame, we faced 3 really good offenses in the last week and a half, and the boys have done a really, really good job. So I love where our staff is. It's really important to get Joey Ryan back out there today. He had a little bit of tenderness, I guess, a week and a half ago. So we haven't had him for a week and a half. So it was only 1 batter. I was hoping it was going to be 4 outs. But getting Joey back, and then you see Cam kind of creeping back in there. He had great at bat Tuesday. Great at bat on Tuesday. Another great at bat today. He's close. And Travis is progressing. So Cam's back next weekend, basically. And Travis, it's going to be close. We're going to sweat this one out. It's going to be right down to the wire. And I'd say leaning towards having both of those guys in our outfield, but I don't know that for sure.
Coach, after you hosted Clemson up there, after that series, you were one of the first ones to say, hey, this Clemson team is actually pretty good and, maybe would be Omaha worthy. And then you said there's several teams in the ACC that are that way. When you see this Clemson team, what makes you think, yeah, this team's good enough to make it to Omaha?
Well, it feels like they haven't lost a game in 3 months. You talk from the lineup standpoint. There's length, there's speed, there's power. They play defense all over the field. You have everything from, Canarella, who can bunt and steal and run, and Grace, who can hit it on top of the roof like he did today. I mean, they're scary all the way through. And then the arms, right? I mean, they've got their rotation is solid. I mean, that's their kind of their two today coming at us, basically. They got Grace going tomorrow, I believe. And then you see the arms coming out of their bullpen. It's hard to find holes. And on top of that, they're a tough competitive group. They're taking on, Eric's personality, and it feels a little bit. I'm saying it's a positive way. Like some of Jack's best teams, it's a scary club, and we got a couple scary clubs. I mean, there's two going at it right now that I think could go to Omaha. I mean, obviously everybody sees what Wake's doing. Wake is. If I look, I was saying this the other day. I think I've been in the league 15 years or something like that. And you have to go through and start picking some of the teams. Virginia years ago, there's a Louisville team. I think it was 8 years ago. You start finding a couple clubs along the way. Carolina back in like 07, I think it was, like that match up to that Wake Forest team. So, and I will tell you, whatever four end up in here, all four of those teams can go to Omaha. And that's the thing about this league. I think we're a 10-bid league. And not for nothing, if you take any one of the teams that you're not going to put in the NCAA tournament and you put them in the NCAA tournament, even some of the teams that didn't make it here, Florida State and Louisville didn't get here, you put one of them in the NCAA tournament, you could pick your head up and see them in Omaha. This league is scary and fun.
Vince, can you take me through the at-bat in the ninth inning, what you were looking for from Garris? And then did you tell Nick anything, or did you guys have a scouting report? Because he kind of obviously had some success there hitting it over the bowl.
Sure, yeah. So we know the report on him is a fastball that has some carry to it. And we're looking, we kind of struggled all day with balls at the top of the zone. So we're trying to just kind of get on top of something. We talked before the inning, actually, and it was just really just trying to get on top of something, get something going in the ninth there.
My question's for Vince. Vince, this is Michael Farr with Berg Sports Network. Your coach kind of touched up about how the league, everyone's competing. It's a very strong league. From a player standpoint, where do you see the future of the ACC going from here?
Sure, yeah. It seems like, any given week, anyone can beat anyone. And the strength of the league is pretty much even throughout in my eyes. I think teams do, certain teams do things well. Seems like most of our wins have come from behind, so that kind of reflects on the resilience of our team. So I think, today it didn't, pan out our way, but I think we're right in the mix with everybody.
Hey, Vince, right here. What did Austin do today to kind of keep you guys off balance from your standpoint?
Sure, yeah. I think we had a good plan going in. We struggled earlier in the year against him. We broke through, I think, for a couple runs at our place. But, just being able to pitch at the top of the zone has kind of been the trend that a lot of pitchers are taking now, and it's very effective. If, you just hit a ball and it feels like you got it, and it kind of hangs up in the air. So I think that's what he did well today.
Now you kind of sit back and wait to see what the NCAA is going to do. What would it mean for your program and for the city of Boston for you guys to be able to host?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple sort of program changing moments in the last couple years. I mean, everybody, actually, nobody forgets, but 5 years ago we didn't have a baseball field, right? And that's what the first thing anybody said about our program was that, we were playing on a parking lot, and they talk about tailgating on our baseball field. And that's when, Vin was a junior in high school, Peter Burns and that crew were seniors in high school. We were recruiting a lot of them still without a baseball field. So adding the baseball field, adding the Pete Frady Center to have a facility now that you can be proud of, and now the ability to show that off in a postseason, in something that, in 2016, we won our regional in Mississippi, and Miami was on the other side, and I don't remember exactly how it played out, but I think Miami was down at some point on Sunday afternoon, and we were kind of joking that even if Miami hadn't won their regional, we couldn't have come back home for a Super because we didn't have a field, So the other thing about it is the city of Boston turns out for big events. I mean, and this will be a big deal in the city. it'll be a huge deal for our program. It'll be a huge deal for our university. And then for everybody, you know, one thing that we say about our program, you know, we talk about this being our thing. It's not just the boys in the field and the staff. It's the donors, it's the former players, it's the alumni that have rallied over these past years to you know, there were times when it looked like this program might be discontinued. There was, you know, and over the years, and our group of, you know, faithful donors, alumni, former players, all of them have fought and fought and fought to get us to this spot. So, yeah, it would be a program-changing type event.
Okay, we got one quick question on Zoom from Dan Rubin. Go ahead, Dan.